What's going on, guys, and welcome to another video. The controllers have arrived, so we're going to do a little bit of a cleaning on them and show you how I clean them. So just before we get into the cleaning of the Xbox 360 controller, I will only do one. I'm not going to bore you with two. I'm just going to quickly show you what I've sold today and something that I've picked up today as well. So first thing that I sold, I'll do this in order, was Heavenly Sword on PlayStation 3. That sold for £3.59 free postage, so not a massive margin on that one. Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Again, I think that was £3.89 free postage. It's quite a low value day today. Next thing was a pair of thumb grips, £1.99 free postage. I have actually changed my listing slightly with these, so hoping to get a few more at the door. And then the next one is a baby comforter that sold for £7 plus postage. One thing that I always do pick up is baby comforters. I only pick them up if they're new with tags or really good condition. I don't really want to be messing around with kind of washing them and stuff just because of obviously depending on what you put in them, some washing detergents and stuff like that might be bad for the baby that it's going to. So I'll only ever really pick them up if they're new with tags or if they look like they are brand new and they haven't been washed or anything. And they always do really well. I've always bought baby comforters. I mean, this one's just from Asda. Probably originally was only about £3, and obviously this one sold for £7. I've had a few Disney ones in the past sell for nearly £30, £25 to £30. So they are always worth picking up if you can find them new with tags. I once bought a big job lot of about 30, I believe, off a lady who was basically just gifted them all. When she had a baby. They were all new with tags and she wanted £10. I think I made around about £230 off all of those baby comforters that I got off them. So definitely something to look out for. It's nothing that's normally always available, but around where I am, they have baby specific car boot sales where they basically just try and get rid of baby stuff, which is a really good car boot sale because there's always new with tag baby comforters there. Unfortunately, there hasn't been one for quite a long time. The last one I was going to go to got cancelled due to lockdown, so I'm hoping they're going to be back up and running again. But obviously with the circumstances, people will probably be taking babies there, and I really don't think that it's going to be open anytime soon. So here's to hoping anyway, and we can stock up on some more baby comforters. So yeah, let's get into cleaning the Xbox 360 controller and how I do it. Just before I do that, I've just totally forgot. I was going to tell you what I've picked up today, and I didn't do that. So, quickly. I picked up a Nintendo 2DS with Super Mario Bros. 2 boxed. It's in okay condition. It is missing like some of the AR cards, the manual and the stylus. So, that. And then 6 games. So, Super Mario Land 3D. Sonic, Mario Kart 7, Lego Avengers, Mario Party, and Luigi's Mansion 2. I picked that all up for £40, so I will be getting this listed after I make this video. So nice little pick up there. So yeah, let's get into the video. So these are all the tools that I would normally tend to use when I clean. So quite a lot of stuff. Just to get a little bit of a picture of what I use. So the first thing I normally use is the Stanley knife of this blade, a flathead screwdriver, a little paintbrush, just a kind of a soft brush, the Torx screwdriver. I will leave a link to these in the description. This is just to get inside. Toothbrush, obviously some batteries, some cotton buds or Q-tips depending on where you're from, some compressed air, spare parts, and then this is just a little tub of elbow grease, just so I can use that with the cotton buds and obviously the Xbox 360 controller. Now, the reason I've picked this one is because the center button is it feels very sticky, so I'm guessing there's going to be quite a lot of dirt underneath, so we'll get in there and have a little look. First thing I always do is just check to make sure the controller works itself and it's not powering on. So first thing to do before you start pulling it apart, if you're not going to clean it, is just have a little look down the, I don't know if you can really see that too well, down the bottom of the battery pack. What you'll tend to find 9 out of 10 times, and it is actually the case with both of these controllers, is that the pins have just been pushed down, so they're not making a good connection with the batteries. Now obviously I bought these for £4.20 for the two, and they describe them as faulty or not working, but they actually work perfectly fine. It's literally just these battery packs which you can pick up for literally about £2 or so. So what I tend to do is go in with a Phillips flathead screwdriver, and I'll just pull these up and kind of bend them back a little bit. I mean, to be fair, it could actually be that they are naturally broken. Oh, I'm just going to take this out of view so I can get. There we go. So yeah, I just tend to pick them up, and in fact I can actually see a little bit of battery acid in there, so that could be another problem. So what I'll do is once I've pulled them up, I'll pop it back in and see if that's fixed my problem, and it hasn't. But I say I have already tested these ones with a new battery pack. So these battery packs I pick up for, I believe they're about, I get them in packs of 4, and they're about £5.80 for the pack of 4. New battery pack works absolutely fine. So take that out. There is 7 screws on the back of the remote of the controller. You've got 3 on each side and then 1 underneath the sticker. So we'll go ahead and start doing all them. Another little hint as well is, I was saying there that battery compartment there, the battery pack, it's got a little bit of battery acid in. Another thing you can do is get some distilled malt vinegar and use a cotton bud or a Q-tip and go in there with that, with the distilled vinegar, and actually rub it in, and it tends to take most of it off and it makes it work. But I mean, for the price I pay for the battery packs, I'll probably just put a new one on. So the next thing, obviously the other screw is underneath this. So what I tend to do is go in with a standing knife and just very, very carefully just peel that up a little bit on the corner, go in with my nail, and then just pull it, and that stops it from breaking or anything like that. Then what I tend to do is get this is basically just off like stickers, so I use them off my fragile stickers and things. What I'll do is I'll take that completely off and put that on there, put that on one side for later, and there you can see the other screw. Hoping this is going to be in focus, so I'm just double checking. So yeah, last screw, we'll take that out, pop that in there. Now what I normally do use as well is one of these little pry tools. I didn't forget to mention that, and that's just to prise the corner. So just pop it in and just twist it. They're very, very easy to take apart once you've got the batteries out. And then just be a little bit careful when you pull it out, because sometimes you do have one of the vibrating motors stuck at the top and you don't want to pull that too hard. So first thing I always do Let's clean the back, just get that all clean. As you can see along the sides here, there is a lot of build-up, a lot of rubbish. So I'll see if I can focus that in. So that's where my flathead screwdriver comes in. So what I'll do is I'll go around just with that, and you can see all of that coming off. It's disgusting. I do normally wear latex gloves, but unfortunately I can't order any at the moment because of current events. And then even inside of here, so the trigger buttons, I tend to go in and just give that a little bit of a scrape, and then do all that all the way around as well. Yeah. And that just gets the bulk of everything off. So next what I'll do, go in with my little paintbrush and just get off all the dust that's on the inside. And get a Q-tip, pop in some shoulder grease, elbow grease, not shoulder grease. And then I'll just go around the edges as well, just to try and get the rest of that stuff out. And obviously you can get in little bits. There's also at the bottom here, which I've actually forgot to do. Now I know this does take obviously time, and again myself, I don't have all the time in the world, but I like to make sure that when I'm selling things like this, that they go out in a good kind of quality to the customer. It's all about setting the example to your customer, and obviously that then means that they may end up returning to you. If they do decide that they need another one or anything like that. I have in fact bought a couple of Xbox 360 controllers in the past. Sorry. From someone, and they came absolutely disgusting, caked, and I don't even want to know what. So I suppose that's kind of the reason why I tend to clean all of mine. And then what I'll do is I'll just go around the edges again, just with a cloth, just so that it takes off any kind of moisture as well. So that's the back pretty much done. Obviously if there was a little bit around here, what I do tend to do as well is just go in here in all of the screw holes, just give them a little bit of a clean, because they tend to find a lot of build up in them. I do apologise if I keep going out of frame. It's very cold in Newcastle today. I don't know what everyone else is like, but it's I've got the heater on behind us. Go on with a dry one and just dry them off. Again, just try and get as much moisture out as possible. And what I normally will do as well, go on with a little bit of compressed air. That just pushes all of the moisture out. So the next thing you want to do is get your controller. I'm just going to get rid of all this rubbish on here, and just undo the vibrating motors. They're not stuck in or anything. And then so undo them, just let them hang a little bit. Be quite careful, because sometimes these can come loose, and obviously it's one thing you don't want to do. What I then do is turn it over and just gently push on the thumb grips to try and get the motherboard out. Again, be very careful when you do this, because you can damage the motherboard by being a bit too rough. Sometimes they're a little bit of a pain, like this one, to get out. I'm just going with my pry tool underneath and just make sure there's nothing. Oh, there we go. So yeah, sometimes they are really, really stuck, and it's normally down to grime and stuff like that, but this one doesn't look too bad. So then take off your little rubber bits, and then what I tend to do is take off this bottom bit. Again, be very careful, because these little bits can snap, and then just move it over. Ugh. That looks minging. Take all the bits out that you can see. Then you want to go in with a small Phillips head screwdriver. Sorry, I did forget to add that into the parts list when I was on about it before. Just unscrew these screws in here. Again, pop them. Oh. In there. And then there'll be two little catches. I'm going to try and see if you can see that inside of there. All you really need to do is pop one in, and that pops the bottom out, and then that bit out as well. So put all these to one side for now, and then we will get going on the front of the controller. So again, what I'll tend to do is go on with a cotton bud, just go around the directional pad, just getting all of the rubbish that's in there out. Again with a dry one, just so that you've got all that out. So there we go, nice and clean now. And again, going with another cotton bud just on the front, just in between the little bits there that you can't really get kind of a cloth into. Inside your buttons as well. And then inside the thumb grips as well. Around the little bits. Now we'll try and give this a good clean as well with the cotton bud. I mean, I know it's not a massive amount of cleaning with it, but it definitely helps. Also as well, good thing to do is try and get in your start and back buttons. So I'll just give them a good clean. And what you'll tend to find is once you've put some sort of moisture in them, when you wipe it, it does help them come off. Give it a wipe down, and I don't know if you can see that there, but all of the muck that was inside of the start and back buttons is now out. Just go around all the bits that you have cleaned, try and get in there. Inside the buttons, go on with a dry one, then turn around. What you'll tend to find is you'll get a lot of build up inside where the thumbsticks are. So again, what I'll tend to do with that is just go in with a rag. Do be careful on the inside because there is loads of parts that you can snap off. There's a little bit in there, it's just a little bit hard to get out, so go on with a thumb grip again. And then again, just a little bit of a dust down with the paintbrush. And then normally what I'll do is use again the flathead screwdriver and just go over these bits where the controller connects, just to get any kind of grime or build up off. And then go over with a cloth again. Normally a wet cloth is the best to use, or kind of a slightly wet, moist cloth. Sorry, how to put that word. I love the word moist, I don't know why. So let me just quickly get some water. I'll go down there with that. And any bits of I can see, so down the bottom there as well. There we go. So that's the back now done. And then what I tend to do is move on to the triggers. I couldn't think of the word there. What I do is get a toothbrush, and this is very, very lightly wet, so it's just a tiny, tiny little bit of moisture on it. Sorry. And I'll just go in on the LT bit, just where the build-up normally gets. And then down the sides as well. It does look like there's a lot of moisture on there, but there's not actually that much on the toothbrush itself. There's any stubborn bits. we go. So next thing I normally do is take off the old thumb grips, and they go to one side, and then I'll get my little paintbrush. I don't know if that's gotten really blurry or not, and I'll just give it a brush around. You tend to find a lot of dust built up inside of these, on the sides of them, so I just give them a kind of a light dust over. Don't be too kind of rough with it. And then get your new thumb grips. I am going to put black ones on these because I'm still waiting on grey ones coming. That doesn't really matter too much. These only fit on one way, so just pop them on. Pop them on one side. And then I'll tend to move on to, yeah, that's the reason it was sticking, it's all sticky. Move on to the buttons. So what I'll do with the buttons is use a little bit of this elbow grease. Just dab that off a little bit, and I'll just go around them. Giving them a good cleaning. I hate doing this without gloves. Oh, do apologise, just smacked the camera. And then give it a good cleaning with the cloth, get all the moisture out again. Then what I'll tend to do is just, obviously in the back there it's a bit hollow, just get the compressed air in there. So I'm going to speed this next bit up because I'm just going to do all of the buttons, and then I'll come back when I'm going to put it all back together. So another thing I forgot to mention is these two little bits I have just, as you see, cleaned that bit, but also the left trigger, left bumper and right bumper. You do get quite a lot of build up around about these. So again, I'll just go in and I'll clean them with a toothbrush. Make sure there's a little bit of moisture on there. That cleans them up nicely as well. Now I'll tend to go on with obviously the Microsoft side at the back. Just try and get in between that and get all them little bits clean. And then on the bottom as well. And again, just get rid of all the moisture as much as you can. Be careful with these because you can bend these too far and snap them, and obviously you just don't want an extra cost of having to buy the new parts for them. And then the last bit is the directional pad. Again, you tend to get a lot of build around the sides, also in between these little bits, so I'll just go around that. Funny story actually, before I used to do reselling, I mentioned in my first ever video that I used to do hydro dipping. Me and one of my friends, he used to get quite a lot of controllers and stuff for really cheap from place. I need to ask him actually where I used to get them from, because I don't know if he's still got connections to there. But we used to hydro dip controllers and sell them at like a really high premium price. And then people started cottoning on to what hydro dipping was and just doing it all themselves. So that's the cleaning done. So as for putting the controller back together, obviously it's basically just the same as taking it apart but in reverse. So I'm just going to quickly show you that. So everything inside the controller is really good because it'll only fit one way. So obviously your directional pad's got two little tabs there, and they literally will not go any other way apart from the way that they fit in. And turn that upside down and put them back in. That just clicks back into place. Now I'll get my screws out. Screws sometimes can be a little bit tricky because they're all so small. But just pop them in, tighten them up. Oh. Again with your buttons, so with the power button, that will only go in one way. So there's this little plastic thing that goes in first, and then your button goes in next. And I can already feel so much better. I think they must have spilled like a coffee or something on this because it was really sticky. And again, if you don't know which way the buttons go, they do actually only go again one way in, so all you do is just sit and twist them and they'll only go in one way. So if I was trying to put this down here, it would not go in anywhere, so it'll only go in one place. And the same with all them buttons. And obviously you've got your back and settings button. Oh, it's still a little bit dirty. Just get a little bit of dirt out. Like I said again in a previous video, I'm very much a clean freak when it comes to like things that I'm trying to resell, because I like to make sure that everything's looking decent for when I obviously sent out to a customer. Because as I said before, I've had experiences myself where I've bought things offline and they're just really bad, kind of grimy and no. Yeah, so I like to clean everything up. So the LB and RB buttons, they again, I believe, just go in one way. I don't think you can, but yeah, it looks stupid that way. So obviously you can just put that in one way. They just fit in. And then again, this will just only go in one way. Just make sure that you get the holes in with the little stands there. There we go, and they just clip in. They don't really kind of stay in and clip in. They can, you can just pull it straight back off. But then you want your little rubber bits. Just give them a little bit of a clean. So black bits up, the little black dots go up, and this one has a little ring at the bottom, which marries with the little ring at the bottom of there. And then obviously this will only go one way around as well. Then you just pop your motherboard back in, or your circuit board, whichever one you want to call it. So I tend to put them in first, just so they're not hanging around. And then one thing, little tip, when you're putting this back in, feel underneath, because you might need to move the joysticks around a little bit, but also try not to touch the buttons, because sometimes once you've got it all back in place, you'll tend to find that you've pushed one of the buttons out and you have to go back in and get it all done. So we'll go to snap down into place. So one thing to look out for is make sure that's obviously down, and also make sure that's down as well. Then what I do like to do is hold the back like that, hold the motherboard in place, just make sure that everything is up and running and working before you put your back plate back on and screw it all back, because the worst thing you don't want, one thing you don't want to do is get it all back together and then realize you've, well, for one of the buttons has popped out or anything like that, or you've put something in wrong. Another button to check is the little connect button at the top, because sometimes, oh, there we go, sometimes they don't click into place properly. So to put the back on, what you want to do is kind of move it forward a bit, just like that, put it on, and then you need to push the springs forward a little bit, just so then they go into the little tracks that are on the back. There's two little tracks down here, don't know if you can see that very well, two little tracks down here, and they need to go into, the springs need to go into them basically, and then you just click that into place, get all your screws on, and then you're ready to go. I'll probably give it another little bit of a clean on the front, just so that it's on, and it's up and running. So obviously put your battery pack in, make sure that it's still turning on, make sure you haven't damaged anything inside, and then obviously as well just connect it up to the Xbox, make sure it definitely works as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that one. Hope you didn't get too bored. I know it was quite a long one. I mean, how long has that taken? Let me see if I can see. Someone's message is in the way. 29 minutes. That's taken me to clean a controller, and that's £15, well, £16, £17, depending on how much you want to price it at, that I'm going to get that for. So it's not a bad amount of time to spend on something to kind of try and clean it up, just so you can get a little bit more money out of it. What you'll tend to find as well when you do start cleaning them, making them look really nice, is it'll be left in the comment in the your feedback. I've had a few people saying really clean controller. I would highly recommend buying controllers from this person, and etc. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching. As I said, I hope I didn't bore you too much. If you do like videos like this, I will do more things like this in the future. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Please subscribe if you're not already, and tune in for the next one.